Hey there, friends. I got a few things that I'm working on. More specifically, it's pertaining to a video from yesterday where I talked to you guys about letters that I've written to Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk regarding the Department of Government Efficiency. More specifically, the ATF. Obviously, I could go a lifetime putting these reports together and assembling numbers for all the other wasted, bloated, bureaucratic organizations out there that are wasting yours and my tax dollars. But I digress. The ATF obviously is more front and center to our minds right now. And many of you asked if I could take the information that I'm including in these letters and build them in the form of a petition that everyone else could sign and forward. And that's a fabulous idea. And I'm a little bit embarrassed that I didn't think of this idea myself. What I'm doing is I'm trying to assemble this in a way that's easy to digest, so the average person can not only forward this, but also use it as talking points to other folks. I'm taking the ATF's more current budget, comparing it to the last couple of years' budget, showing the increases that they are increasing their budget by, how they're bloating the, according to them, needed money that they need to operate efficiently, which we know no government operates efficiently, so that in itself is kind of an oxymoron. But I'm trying to show where they're wasting money. They're wanting a lot of money for additional night vision or thermal. They're wanting additional monies, lots of money. Get this, how ironic is this? For body cams. Yeah. Remember whenever they killed Brian Malinowski in Little Rock earlier this year? They all had plate carriers. In other words, they had the things necessary to save their lives, but nothing to protect you or me, the taxpayer, like body cams. Now, they had the body cams, what appeared to be body cams on there. Apparently, they didn't have them or they weren't working, because whenever they killed the man in his own home, nobody seems to have footage of it, other than the little bit of footage that we did get where they put the piece of tape over the Ring doorbell camera, which is illegal, and nobody has spoken up for that. That also is being included. These guys may not have heard about that because it's outside of their circle of influence, obviously. I'm talking about Elon and Vivek. So I'm letting them know that they're asking for stuff that I think they already have, that they're claiming doesn't work. I do believe they're lying. I do believe that they had body cams when they killed Malinowski, but they're asking for additional monies because they're saying we didn't have it. That's why we can't prove to you that the guy was killed for the right reasons. They're stating that. So I'm including that as well, but there's a whole lot of different bloated areas that they have. You know, these people are also talking about, I don't know if you guys knew this. This is pretty crazy if you ask me. I used to work for a Fortune 500 company, more specifically a utility company, and I had a budget, a small budget, but I had a budget. My budget was about $11 to $15 million a year, depending on new projects that we might have been implementing down in Texas and Louisiana, which were my areas. I know a little bit about numbers. I know how to look at budget breakdowns. I know how to look at forecasts. I know how to look at overruns, underruns. I know how to spot all of that. I also know where, when you hear of a certain thing happening, you automatically assume if you're being tied to a budget somehow, whether it be from a performance review or just in general, you need the money for something else, you pay real close attention when somebody makes various announcements about particular things that might impact money. Tell me if you think this impacts money. Did you guys know that federal employees, you're not going to believe this, 80 to 85% of federal employees since COVID 4 years ago work from home? Did you know that? I didn't know that. Let me tell you that again. 80 to 85%, and the jury is still out because some come in for a couple of days, some stay home for the rest of the time. 80 to 85% of federal employees work from their own homes. Let me ask you this. Have we seen an 80 to an 85% reduction in line items for facilities? Facilities is typically the line item that you have associated with buildings, and that would also include utilities, which would be electrical, cable, anything of that nature to keep that building running properly. And that would include maintenance fees as well. So facilities is one main item, and then you have a bunch of line items underneath that build into that facilities number. Have you heard about facilities numbers being cut 80 to 85%? Have you seen anybody with a reduction in their overall budget numbers, including the ATF, that included a reduction based on people working from home? I haven't either. Just another thing that we need to be asking Elon and Vivek. Are we just keeping all of these empty buildings that only have 15 to 20% capacity, people working in them? Are we keeping them, the entire complex, for 15 to 20% of our entire workforce to work in? So we've got the majority of these buildings empty, and we're still air conditioning them. We're still heating them. We still have running water throughout the entire facility. We still have electricity throughout the entire facility. We also have these drop points and data points for all the Ethernet and things like that to ensure that you have a stable way. Remember, these people are working for the federal government, a stable way to communicate via the internet, right? That's not cheap. And in many cases, they charge by the block of employees. Every 10, every 20, every 50 people that you have on this internet or Ethernet line, it costs you this much money. And again, I'm oversimplifying this. I know some of you tech guys out there can certainly add more light to that, but I know that when I worked more in the industry, it mattered how many employees you had pulling that, because that changed the speed of your upload or download. On that note, all these people working from home, how secure is that? Is that really secure that we have 85% of our workforce uploading? Let's say the DoD, Department of Defense. 85% of the Department of Defense is uploading sensitive documents and information from their AT&T account at home, from their hotspot. Really? We're okay with that. Oh, don't give me the VPN and all that kind of stuff. We're talking about, you don't think a Chinese hacker can hack into something like that? My point is, this is a lot of stuff that I'm working on. That's why, again, I guess I would say this is a short video today, but it is kind of short today. That's why I'm kind of shortening my video today, because I am working on this. There's a lot of information to pull out and to try to make the case. And I'm being honest and serious about this. I'm not sending this for these guys just to laugh at or to look at and go, oh yeah, that's cute. No, I want them to look and see the amount of work that myself and even you guys put into a report to them to prove to them that the ATF is an agency that is way overbloated. They're asking for more. They have too many people. They have too many assets. They are promising things they cannot deliver on. They're promising to have safety, more safety in these inner cities, and they never deliver on that. They run like their hair's on fire when it comes to a guy with a giggle switch or a Glock switch in downtown Chicago. They want nothing to do with that. These people are cowards. So we know that they overpromise and they underdeliver all the time. Of course, that's government. I'm not singling out just the ATF on that, because federal government they're known for that. I'm focusing on the ATF because it matters to me. And I think the ATF needs to be, I understand that it's not going to go away just with the flip of a switch tomorrow. You know what can happen? You know what can absolutely happen to the ATF? Whether it be through Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy's new organization for government efficiency, whether it's through that or whether it's through Congress, what can absolutely happen is slash their budget. You can defund them. If you feel like having the ATF around serves any kind of a purpose, great. Good for you. You're wrong, but good for you. Let's employ a couple of people. Let's keep the lights on for a couple of them, right? Keep it in place. I mean, are you okay with that? I still don't like the idea of that. But if you feel like everything falls apart and some other monster organization like the FBI will simply take it on and things will be worse. No, it won't. Because we have FTEs, full-time employees in the FBI. They're not going to automatically fund those. They're going to take what's the responsibility of the ATF or whatever needs to be moved to another organization, and simply water it down and spread those responsibilities out amongst the people that are already there. One thing I can assure you of, we are not going to see other agencies get bloated and grow as a result of any of these agencies that we either defund or do away with. That's not going to happen. That goes against the whole purpose of doing this in the first place. That's the beauty of doing this within this 4-year period of time. If we can even defund to a certain degree the ATF, those responsibilities don't suddenly become more harshly implemented onto the American people. That will not happen. I know that won't happen. That's another reason why they're so serious about putting the right person in place or in charge of the FBI. Because they know the FBI has been weaponized and abused over the last several years, decades. So those things are coming to an end. So I feel like if we can get to a point where we can convince members of Congress, and people are listening to Elon Musk right now. They're absolutely listening to him. The guy knows how to run a business. He knows how to be efficient. Didn't he go into Twitter and cut 70% of the workforce and never missed a beat? The guy knows about wasteful spending. So this is the guy for the job. Oh, and by the way, did you know he was working for free? Yeah, he's working for free. So that new organization right now not only isn't costing us anything, but we're actually in the hole from a payout standpoint because we're not paying salaries to Vivek and to Elon. Wow. Yeah, that's somebody who wants to get the job done right. Let's look at pushing and pressuring our members of Congress by way of getting this information to Elon and his team, getting them somehow to get on board with us and make the ATF a priority organization. Because remember, they have lots of agencies within the federal government that they're going after. What I would like to see, and I need your help to do this, is for you guys to help me push this up through senators, through congressmen, even directly to Elon and Vivek Ramaswamy, letting them know that once they see the ATF over and over and over again, they keep hearing about it. They keep hearing about the waste involved. Suddenly it becomes a priority to them because they realize a large portion of the American public want the ATF to be either defunded, done away with, made smaller, whatever you want to call it, neutered. Let's do whatever we can, right? Like, yeah, if it doesn't go completely away, I think we'll live. Let's start downsizing this place. And I think by doing that, putting pressure on our politicians and these other guys who have a head of steam right now and they're hungry and they want to get something done, let's make them make the ATF a priority to go after.
I don't understand the point that you're making.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's so horrible.